Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are live with another episode of Sc2 Up and Coming. I am, of course, NanMan, and no other co-host this evening. And tonight's going to be a little bit of a different episode than usual. We're going to try to get a little bit normality in it. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about, community-related stuff, of course, the release date of Legacy of the Void, talk about Sc2VN, couple things like that, talk a little bit of tournament stuff, and then go into the announcement. So we're not going to spend too much time on a lot of topics tonight, just kind of highlight a few of those and then spend a little bit more time on the announcement. So if for whatever reason you guys were not aware that there was a StarCraft visual novel that got kickstarted and just got released, you guys should check it out. They also are working on greenlighting it for Steam, but if for whatever reason you just want to play it now, don't want to wait for the whole Steam thing, you can download it. Sc2VN.com. We'll get you over to their site, www. all that good stuff. So very cool project that basically follows along as you are a pro gamer. For those that followed along in the early stages of StarCraft 2, like GSL time period, it's got that sort of feel. Like back when, the foreign players would try to go there and compete in the GSL, players from Liquid tried to do it, a couple of the EG guys tried to do it, some of those big teams, and as well as a few of the other European players out there. And it's got that nostalgia feel if you were around. If not, and you were like, hey, what would it be like to be a pro gamer and start things up? That I recommend you guys checking it out. Really well written. When I finished it, I was like, okay, where's the sequel? Well, I'm ready to continue the story, guys. Let's make this happen. So I thought it was great. Definitely entertaining, got that whole nostalgia feel to it. So if you guys have not checked that out, be sure to do that. And the other is the StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void opening cinematic and the release date. So I wanted to play the video for you guys if you had not seen it yet. Some of you guys maybe didn't know the cinematic had been released, so I just want to throw it up on stream for you guys to enjoy real quick.
The Swarm brought ruin to our world. Our proud people became refugees. And yet, they could not shatter our unity. For we are bound by the Kala, the sacred union of our every thought and emotion. Today, we retake our homeworld, and with it, our legacy.
So, super hype time. Pylon's OP. Basically, is how that looks now. In all seriousness, the trailer looks amazing. They had a whole little kind of launch party and stuff like that for it, so it's cool that they were able to at least preview the trailer for us, or the cinematic for us to enjoy. November 10th is not that far away, guys. Only a few months away. Basically 2 months away now, so things are looking pretty good for that. Those are a few of the general stuff I wanted to highlight for you guys, and then kind of wanted to highlight a few of the tournaments and stuff, because, WCS Season 3 is done and over with, and talk about hype, because we kicked off the round of 16 with some amazing groups there. I talked a little bit about some of the groups, and I've got to say, there was some players that I counted out, and was pleasantly surprised with who ended up making it through to the playoffs. It was just like all the European hype building up there. We had, of course, our normal Korean participants that were there. Pult, 4GG, and Hydra there all made it into the playoffs, and only 4GG advanced to the semifinals. Hydra was defeated by Lublo, and 4GG beat Pult. Other side of things, Xanister and Gung Fu Banda was able to win out that match. Mana beat Patreus just barely 3-2. Semifinals consisted of Xanister versus Lebo, 4GG versus Mana, and the Protoss advanced, guys. Mana defeated 4GG 3-1. Lebo defeated Xanister 3-2. And we had a PvP final, all foreigner final in WCS for Premier League. First time this year. It's been a very long time since we've had a foreigner in the finals for WCS Premier League, for like the European and America side of things. So that was exciting to see that take place, like the double foreigner final between two top European Protoss players, and Liblo able to seal the deal and catch out that victory there. And actually, that pulled him into the top 16 and eligible for BlizzCon with that. He is now sitting at rank 13, which was awesome. He is sitting at 3,625 points now. So 4GG no longer in the running. He's at rank 20th right now, so he was not able to solidify himself in there. So that's exciting to see him doing so well. We also have another event coming up, guys. DreamHack is going to be taking place very, very soon, the 24th and 25th, so the end of the month, next weekend there. And we've got Red Bull Battlegrounds Washington taking place this coming weekend here. And we know who Bomber's teammate's going to be. It's going to be MMA. So Bomber versus MMA are going to be fighting Huck versus MC. Violet and Moss are going to be facing Don Regu and True. Winner goes to the winner's final. There is a loser bracket, guys, though, so it's not just, boring and done and over with. So, but it all is a one-day event, so super hype, super exciting to see what takes place with the Archon mode event this coming Saturday, and that's going to be in Washington, D.C., so get that hype going. So cool stuff going on with that. And really that's kind of the main stuff coming up. And really it's kind of that time to slide over into the actual announcement. I wanted to give a little bit normality to the show and what we kind of do and what the show is kind of about to start the show off, because the announcement is that Sc2 Up and Coming is going to be going on hiatus. For those that have been fans of the show for a while, we appreciate your guys' support. It has meant a lot to us, and sadly, with the way things go with real life, work, and everything else, it's not working out this year. Sadly, to keep things going, and I feel like the show is not moving in the direction that I want, because I can't put in the time and effort to really bring it to what it's supposed to be. So sadly, we will not be continuing Sc2 Up and Coming every week. It's going to be on a hiatus for the time being. Maybe in the future we'll move it to once a month. Maybe we'll change it up. Who knows what's going to happen in the future. Master Dog and Curran have both expressed that they'd love to be involved in the project in the future. They had a blast being on it. I was lucky enough to have them as co-hosts with me. Especially Master Dog, who does all things esports. To find the time to keep with the show. Curran, amazing observer, one of the best observers in NA. Graduated college and got sucked into real life as well as I did this year, so he was not able to join us for as many shows as he would have liked. He definitely helped out, both of them did, for the last year as well as this year. But I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the show, kind of what it meant to me and why I started the show. So Sc2 Up and Coming started in July of 2012. So 3 years we've been doing this show. More or less every week. We would take a couple weeks off here and there. Like, we'd always take at least a week off in the summer. We'd always take a week or two off, maybe 3 sometimes around Christmas time. That whole thing. And apart from that, we tried to do a show every week. We got up to 135 episodes. We've had 5 co-hosts on this show, regular co-hosts. We started out with myself, Sam SC2, and Alt Windy. Windy, of course, was a member of Alt StarCraft when that was around in the early days. If you guys remember that, those guys helped things out back in the early 2012 period. And then Sam ended up leaving us October after the show started, he was really focusing more on his casting and didn't really have as much time. Like, he was streaming constantly and really getting high viewership. This was, of course, in the earlier days when there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of North American team leagues, a lot of show matches, just so much content going around, and so many awesome players building up. This is, the early days of StarCraft 2, he was starting to focus on that, so it's cool. Windy, his team ended up disbanding, not really as invested and involved in the StarCraft scene after that. Was on the show until December of that year, and then has decided to step away from StarCraft, go in and just enjoy some other games for a while. And then in January of 2013, I talked to Dulk and asked him over the holiday, during our holiday break, and asked him if he would like to join our show. I know if you guys remember some of those first couple episodes, it's a little bit rocky, a little bit awkward getting used to having a new co-host and trying to get the flow of the show going. And Dulk really stepped up and progressed from when he first started out to where he was now, or is now, with the show, and being a full pillar of it. I was able to rely on him quite heavily, especially near the end of a lot of different segments of the show, especially the Korean scene, and keeping us up to date on what's been going on with that side of things. Like I said, with Curran, he joined us up about June, sometime in that period of 2014 there. So it was just Dulk and I for about a year and a half or so before we asked Curran to join us on the show there. And one of the things that we did in the early stages is we would have guests on, whether it be players, tournament organizers, things like that, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to do with the show. And that was one of the reasons why, when it was 2012 and they're talking about having a unified league for StarCraft, and there's still all these amazing events, there's MLGs, there's North American team leagues and stuff, and I was like, all right, we've got like State of the Gathering, or State of the Game, we've got these Inside the Game, we've got these shows to talk about major tournaments and talk about top players and this and that, but we don't have a show dedicated to the other players, the players that are winning the LANs in their area week in, week out, the players that are top of the ladder, that are constantly pulling their team along in team leagues there, the players that are dominating through qualifiers here only to lose out in the last second there, or doing so well in MLG, taking games off of Koreans here, beating top pros. Like those players are the reason why I wanted to start the show up. And there were teams out there full of these players. There was leagues like the NA-based team league, especially in the early days, that was a big part of what we wanted to highlight. We would sit there and talk about upcoming qualifiers for players, upcoming LAN events. So we wanted it to be as much of a resource for teams and players to use and say, oh, I didn't realize there was this qualifier, or oh, I didn't realize that there was this $100 mini tournament going on here, or this and that, and as well as a way to highlight these players and these teams that have great talent and great contributions to the scene that we're just not really getting recognized as much. We've had some amazing guests on the show. Suppy, Sasquatch, Hire, Lucky Fool, Insur, Dream, Avillo, like a lot of these players around. We've had some of the other guys on there, like Fear Dragon has kind of been a regular rotating on our show. We've had a lot of amazing guests come on the show, and that was one of the things we love doing is having those players on and being to tell a little bit, or the organizers or this and that, and tell a little bit about their story, and kind of maybe make a fan out of some people. Like, say, people watching the show go, wow, I didn't know this about him. That makes me like him a little bit more. I'm definitely going to be rooting for him in the next big tournament or something like that. That's kind of where SC2 started. And then as things went on, like, there were so many ideas and different things that I'd love to do with the show. Like, I'd love to be able to, have a mini show match or something before the show. Sit there and get like 2 up-and-coming players or 2 kind of, as a term for people that might be familiar with StarCraft now, 2 Challenge League players. Or maybe 2 round of 32 Premier League players that are constantly getting knocked out every season. Some of these, like, good players, but just maybe not highlighted enough, and have those show matches before the show, and then maybe have the winner on, talk a little bit about himself before, like, in the middle of the show or something like that, or the beginning of the show, before we get into kind of the general news and announcements and things like that. Sadly, we lost a lot of our original video archive when Twitch switched over, because I just would save everything on Twitch and got so lazy about uploading everything to YouTube, which, for any other content creator out there, laziness is a killer. Let me tell you that, because I have been kicking myself ever since for not getting around and actually uploading that, because I lost so much content, at least 100 episodes from SC2 Up and Coming. I've got, luckily, some of my first couple episodes there, probably the first 15 or so on YouTube, and then we go blank, and we lose too many. We jump. Let me actually double check and see where we're at. We jump from episode 15 to episode. We lost like all of 2013. Because we jump up to episode 97. But yeah, that's a lot of episodes to lose, and I hate that we lost all those. It sucks. But that's my own fault for that happening. And again, there's so much more I wish I could do for the show, and wish that the show could have been. And we had at the beginning we had some great followers, and even throughout we had some very loyal fans that would continue to watch us week in, week out, even if we weren't having a guest on, even if we're not sitting here and having the show matches beforehand and doing all this extra stuff for the show. It still was nice to sit down every week and just talk about StarCraft. For content creators out there that are looking to do podcasts or looking to do video casts, have a system set up. However you want the show to run. These are the things that you're going to highlight about the show. Here's your segments, so people can follow along very nicely. Consistency is always the key thing, and that was something that we did very well up until this year, and things got a little bit hectic and crazy, and sadly we weren't able to keep as consistent as we would have liked. All this stuff that you've probably heard millions of times, but co-hosts, that chemistry is very, very important. Having that good dynamic and everything. Having someone to help lead the direction, lead the flow of the show, and ask the questions and kind of get people talking, get the discussion going is very important. So, things to kind of think about if you're ever considering going into content producing, like this side of things. Just little snippets for you. As it's going, I know Curran is not able to do as much StarCraft stuff as he would like, because he's working full time and just graduated from college, so he's busy doing that. But every so often you'll see him tweeting about stuff and keeping up to date on things. So you guys make sure you're following current on how things are going. Master Adult, of course, is still involved with StarCraft. Still involved in like every esports that he can get his hands on. So make sure you guys are continuing to watch and follow him. Actually, he's 994 followers. So why is he not at 1,000 followers yet, guys? You guys are slacking. I mean, Dulk is going to be running all of esports soon enough, so you better get on it. So yeah, that's in all seriousness though, you guys make sure you're following everybody. Follow me if you guys enjoy the stuff that I've done or the stuff that I'm going to be working on. I am going to still be creating content. I'm going to be doing a lot more playthroughs on Twitch. I've got a couple other games in the works that I wanted to do playthroughs of. I'm continuing to do a video coverage against, I guess, podcast style. But this time it's going to be Magic. I've done it in the past, and this time I'm doing it kind of a once a month deal, trying that out. And I've been enjoying it that way. It's been good. I've tweeted about it a few times. The videos are up on YouTube as well as on Twitch. And I am spending a little bit more time playing Magic and competing in tournaments and stuff like that. So that's another reason why I'm not able to spend as much time devoted to the other passions that I have. I still love StarCraft 2, still love watching the game, but sadly it just seems like it's time to move on from Sc2 Up Coming, and that's kind of the reason why I still want to do the show tonight. Do a little bit normalcy at the beginning, and kind of just talk a little bit about what Sc2 Up Coming meant for me and what I was trying to do with it and why I started it, and kind of lead into the future. And like I said, it's, who knows, Legacy of the Void could come out, and by next year our schedules could be completely freed up and we get back into it. But as you guys know, I really have not been even casting much StarCraft this year. Well, even beginning of this year, end of last year, I was still doing WCS coverage, still doing some casting and stuff like that. I've luckily been blessed to be able to cast WCS. I've been able to cast DreamHack. I've been able to cast so many NA-based team leagues, so many online events, so many show matches, local lands, that it sucks that I just can't get as involved in that kind of stuff anymore. And I think that a lot of people have seen that. Have not seen me been providing coverage, and have kind of been stepping back more and more as this year has progressed, which it sucks that is the case, but that's kind of how it goes, I guess. As it seems to be time to just sort of move into the shadows and let other people take the leads. And there's so many great projects going on that are out there right now that deserve to be highlighted and deserve to get more coverage. And I'm sad that we're not going to be able to continue to provide you guys with that. Two things that I would like to highlight that are continually ongoing things that are a big part of why we started the show, that we're not going to continue to provide updates for each week, are the we've got Ravi or Fear Dragon's project that he started up there, which is kind of the NA Ladder Hero event, which is each week they have the end of the week, whoever the top couple spots on the ladder get paid out, and then they've got the end of the month tournament, they get paid more money. So just a great incentive for NA players. Make sure you guys are following Fear Dragon and helping out in any projects that he does, because he is a huge contributor to North American esports, and I wish I could work with him more on projects and help out more and everything for that. Dust Gaming, one of those upcoming teams that we've talked about on the show multiple times, and one of the teams that we've had players on our show before, like SWS and stuff like that. So it's a definitely great team. They've started up their own NA-based team league because it's so needed. And there's some great teams in there: Sidestorm Gaming, Team Ascension, Flipside Tactics. We've also got Team Exile in there, Dust, like I've talked about, Complexity, as well as a lot of other upcoming teams. So it's a great proving ground for a lot of players. Besides just the ladder, great way to play it and win some money. So make sure you guys are supporting those organizations and those events and stuff that they've got going on. A lot of other great stuff going on in the scene. So make sure you guys are checking out all that stuff. It will still be tweeting from time to time. We're going to be talking from all of our Twitters, of course, because we all sit there and tweet. If you like space stuff, Current TV is the guy to check that stuff out. Dulk, of course, is so involved in esports. I am going to be continuing to tweet StarCraft stuff, but also kind of going more Magic related. And Sc2 Up and Coming, I'm going to do my best to keep up to date and at least continue to tweet stuff like the NA Ladder Hero stuff, like the Dust League, like qualifiers, and just kind of what the show is about. And I at least want to continue to do that in a small sense until maybe we eventually get the show back up and running. But that's sadly it, I guess. The long-winded, long explanation, I guess, of the show and what I wish I could do, what I couldn't do, and what hopefully I'll be able to do again in the future. But that's going to do it for me tonight, guys. Try to get it a little bit more normal, a little bit out there, but I guess for the last time, for now, I'll say for now, because we'll see what the future brings. I'm the real NanMan, Master Adult Current TV, and signing out on episode 135 of Sc2 Up and Coming.